usually when a manager implements a transition, they've already mentally gone through it in their head. And so they don't understand that everybody else needs to sort of catch up. So there isn't a lot of planning at the front end about preparing people for change, telling them it's going to come, telling them what's not going to change, addressing their fears and their concerns, looking at who are the potential saboteurs or the people who might be the most resistant or the most vocal and the most obstinate, so they can create strategies at the front end to deal with problems before they ever happen. They just sort of throw it out there and then sort of shoot from the hip, and that's not the best way. Having a plan, especially at the front end, and looking at how are we going to communicate this, how often, how frequently, what's the message, how are we going to reassure people, goes a long way. There's not a lot of plan at the front end with regard to whatever's ending. And at the other end, there's not a lot of reinforcement for people having made the change. So what I find is it's sort of like, okay, now we're moving on, instead of applauding and attaboys and attagirls and moving forward and carrying the flag and letting people rally around the change and celebrating the work that's been done to get people through. I also find that most managers don't understand how difficult the middle is. They only see change in terms of, here's where we are, here's where I'm going. And the middle is where, it's very, very messy. People whine, people complain, they want information that perhaps you don't have. They want to have it hurried up. They want to tell you why it's stupid, why it'll never work. And it gets very annoying to managers, so they want to hurry and rush through it. But what I find is it's actually the most creative time, because when everything's up in the air, you can create things that are very different. You can be very, not just creative, but optimistic. You can, when things aren't quite settled, you can create something that's new and innovative. You can make people part of it and give them roles to play so that they feel that they're actually owning the change, because now they're part of it, it's not just happening to them. So there are distinct phases, and I think what happens when people usually do changes, they just sort of do it and then move on, because mentally they're already there. Everybody else has to kind of come through it, and so they don't spend enough time at the front end planning, in the middle leveraging that creativity, and at the end affirming, confirming, and applauding. I think that usually is a big problem. A lot of people spend time saying, what they should have done this earlier, or this is what it should have done. Spend some time at the front end thinking about what are people going to say so that you can anticipate it and maybe prepare for it. There is no right time to do it, but there are times when it's more right. If you're changing your logo and you're changing your location, it's probably not the best time to change your benefits and your organizational plan. If you're changing software, it may not be the best time to change your software and also change the way the organization's structured. So try and give people a chance to adapt to one thing before you throw something else at them. Everybody sort of has their own level of readiness, and it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. Some people love change. A day without change is like a day without sunshine. Just ask Jack Welch. Other people hate change, and so any kind of change really puts the fear of God into them in terms of their own confidence and their own competence. And so you really want to make people feel comforted and supported as they go through transition. Not enough time at the front end. Never, never, never.